this thing has a soul, whatever it is.
You think it was also trying to evaluate how much of a threat you were really going to be, and then
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
But I think the reason he walked to me is because he wanted to be, he didn't run away because he wanted to be the king of the mountain. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Oh, I left something out. I always do this, so I have to go back. When he was walking to me, he was talking. He was doing what everybody talks about, that Tasmanian devil, that yo. He was doing that when he was walking. He didn't do it. He did it for a couple seconds. I just heard it. I didn't see him doing it. I was looking down at my gun at the time to make sure I had one in. But I heard him talking.
So it wasn't more of the samurai chatter. It was more of the
Yeah, it was more like that kind of stuff. Just weird kabuki stuff, man.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at him. I'm getting nervous really bad right now.
That's okay, Mike. I know it's difficult to talk about. We had talked a little earlier that brings up a lot of emotions and fear, and but that's okay. However you need to tell it. If you need to take a break, it's okay.
Oh no, I'm gonna finish what I started.
Okay.
I started looking at him really good in the scope. Like I said, he wasn't like bluff charging or nothing like that. I'm told they do that. He walked to me very comfortably. Threatening, but not life-threatening. I was looking at him, and I noticed a few things on him. I forgot a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff came back to me. When I told the story the very first time to Wes German, it wasn't detailed because I was trying to blow through it, and I was really scared and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stuff that has come back to me since then. You go through a traumatic experience like that, you forget a lot of things.
And you'll be welcome back. You'll be welcome back anytime, Mike, you want to. If there's some more details that you even felt you left out today, you could always come back for another interview. Yeah, if there's anything you've left out.
So I'm looking at him, and the first thing I noticed when I was able to power my scope back down, the very first thing I noticed was his hands. His hands were so huge. His fingers were like small bananas. You ever see the little small Asian bananas? How fat they are?
Yes, sir.
His fingers were fat and he had fingernails, but it was like they were. I don't know if they chew them off or if they were broken off. But he had dirt up under his fingernails, also where he was digging in the ground. And every time I would bear down on him, I kept looking at him through the scope, and then I would look up over my scope to make sure I wasn't nuts. But every time I would look back into my scope and bear down on him, he would turn his head to the side. And it was almost like he was giving me the look like, you better not do it. You better not do it. That's why I think these things know what guns are. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that.
There was a point where he did a yawn. Kerry Arnold, in his encounter, his did like a yawn thing too. I don't know if that's just something they do, but he did like a yawn. And when he did this yawn, I could see all his teeth, all of his teeth. They were square like ours, but like big chiclets, kind of like horse teeth, but even bigger than that. I remember seeing the inside of his cheeks, like his gums. They were black. They were black like his face. His face was so black that it actually looked like somebody took a black paintbrush and painted his face. His face was that black. The rest of his body was not, but his face was black, like pronounced black, like leather, like black leather. That's the best way I can put it. He had the pronounced ear ridges. His eyes were black, almond shaped, but it was like they were sunk inside of his eye socket. They weren't out like ours. It was like his eyes were like more in his skull.
With a heavier brow ridge.
Heavier brow ridge.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I have to tell your audience. A lot of people think that these things don't have a neck. They do have a neck. The problem is when you see one of these things, they're so big, it just looks like a head on top of shoulders. What it is they have so much going on in their tracks. There's so much muscle definition there, it hides their neck. And the reason I know this is every time I would bear down on him, he would turn his head, but not turn his body. You have to have a neck to do that. He was looking at me, and, this is probably 10 or 15 minutes done went by. I got to see a lot, man. More than I really wanted to see. I'm just trying to give the audience the best description. It wasn't like at the time. It wasn't like I was John Cousteau, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This was survival. Is what this was.
Well, I know we appreciate all the details about the features of the face and the eyes, and any details you have, Mike. We're always about bringing awareness and sharing info and keeping people safe. And if people can bring away just one thing from your encounter, they can add to their knowledge on these creatures, and it's all worth it, even though it's difficult for you to maybe relive it. But that's interesting part about not having or having somewhat of a neck, because you think of most Sasquatches of not having a neck to them, and the head just sits on the shoulders. So that was an interesting part, that it did appear that it had a neck. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it also had ears, and the funny thing about the ears is the ears look identical. There's nothing that's savage about their ears. Their ears are the same. What's funny about it is their head is so big and their ears are so small. It doesn't look right. It does not look right. So it gets to the point to where, like I told you on the phone a little while ago, where I have to make a choice. This thing's going to end up killing me. I have to do something. I'm thinking any time now he's going to charge. He's going to come up this tree. He's big enough to shake me out of this tree if he wanted to. So it gets to the point to where I have to make a choice. The sun's past the trees now. It has not set yet, but it's going to set any minute. And I'm going to be pitch black with whatever this is. I'm pretty sure at this point, I'm thinking this is what everybody's talking about. This is a Sasquatch. This is one of the things that people are talking about. I'm pretty sure that come across my brain at some point, but I'm in shock. I get to a point where I have to make a decision, and when you're on an animal and you put that scope on him, I put it right between his eyes. He didn't turn his head this time. It was almost like he trusts. I put the X right between his eyes, not right, maybe up just a little bit. And I made that last exhale and he squeezed off, and I got about halfway. I don't know how the gun did not go off, but there was a point where I froze and I said, I can't do it. I cannot do it. There's just humanity kicked in. It's like I'm killing somebody if I do this. This isn't right. I can't do it. There's got to be a different way. I can't do it. Maybe if I kill this thing, I'm going to report it, because I'm not going to be able to live with myself if I don't report it. And I just couldn't do it. So it gets to be a point where he starts getting a little antsy again, and he starts walking in a little oval shape like he did on the power lines. And I'm out of my mind at this point. So I just put my gun down on the side, and I stuck my hands up in the air, and I screamed at him again. I said, what do you want? Like, that loud. When I did this is the worst part of the encounter. I'm going to take a deep breath on it. He screamed. And when he screamed, he was 30 yards away, and I got to see him scream. When he screamed, it was very demonic. It was like his chin, his teeth, his nose, his eyes, everything. There was so much power in it, it protruded to the front of his face. then when he was done with the scream, it sucked back to normal. Like his face melted. Like something out of a DC comic book.
Well, now,
Like,
no, I believe.
His teeth just fall out on the ground.
Let me interject there. I believe it's the truth of what you just explained, because there's another YouTuber, maybe I won't mention him or his channel, but he explained when he was younger, he had experiences when he had he had a younger Sasquatch that his face looked like he was melting when he got angry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was doing that. What's that? What's that sound they do? It's not they put out that vibration to kind of paralyze you. That's when it looked like
infrasound.
Yes, when this young Sasquatch used the infrasound. Thanks, guys, for watching. Stay tuned for part number 4.